Disclaimer, this review is not sponsored and I paid for everything with my own money. Today we're going to do a quick review of the Shapton Kuromaku 1000 grit ceramic Whetstone. Review point number 1. It's probably the best and best value stone on the market. Value doesn't necessarily mean cheap. It means you're getting a lot for the money. Right now, you can get this stone for $38.50. And I'll leave a link below to the exact place I bought mine on Amazon. I've been keeping my eye on these prices recently, and they seem to be going anywhere from $42 down to about $38. However, it seems like anytime I post a video with something, the price skyrockets, so I would buy one quickly if you're thinking about buying one. And yes, I do recommend buying one. For $38.50, you are getting a stone that will sharpen any steel. I've tried this stone on everything from cheap $1 dollar store stainless kitchen knives to custom heat-treated CPM M4 at 67 Rockwell. It sharpened everything without any trouble and leaves a very crisp edge for 1000 grit. So that's right off the stone. This knife wasn't dull before, but it definitely could have used a touch-up. I actually haven't even sharpened it since the last time I used this. Review point number 2. The feedback. Feedback is how a stone feels while you're using it. This stone feels awesome. There's tactile feedback, meaning it's very easy to tell whether or not you are over or under angled relative to your original bevel. The stone is hard enough to not dish out at the slightest over angle, and not so hard that you lose the abrasive feel of metal being removed from the knife. Feedback is subjective, so it's difficult to describe how it compares to something like a diamond or ceramic stone, but I will say that if a diamond stone is purely functional with no feedback, like sharpening on an abrasive ice cube, this stone is like sharpening on a diamond stone with the feel of a whetstone. And we'll say it's actually a fun stone to use if you can get over the next talking point. It requires water. This is not a traditional whetstone that it requires soaking for 10 to 15 minutes prior to use. This is what's called a splash and go stone. A small splash of water on the surface is all that's needed to clear the metal particulate that is being removed from the knife. This stone doesn't slurry, meaning everything stays nice and clean. However, not quite as clean as a diamond stone since some water is required. This shot right here shows the messiest it gets. This is not slurry. This is just water with metal material that's been removed from the knife. And it's a far cry from the gritty messiness from softer whetstones. But I think the feedback more than makes up for the little bit of water needed. All in all, this is a very clean stone to use. You will not have abrasive particles all over the place in the action of your knife when you're done using it. Point number 4, loading/dishing. There's also very little loading. Only a slight discoloration occurs on the surface, but no loss of cutting performance due to loading. Also, dishing is extremely minimal. At this point, I've sharpened about 30 knives and haven't noticed any significant dishing, so flattening is kept to a minimum. This means that the stone is likely to last a lifetime of casual use. You really are getting a lot for your money here. I'm very impressed with the wear rate of the stone. Point number 5. Final edge. The final edge off of the 1000 grit Shapton ceramic stone is amazing. It leaves a very crisp edge right off of the stone. With some simple burr removal techniques, a hair-popping edge right off the stone is easily attainable. Combine this stone with a 6 micron and 1 micron strop and you're likely to never need anything else from a sharpening standpoint. The stone is coarse enough to remove significant material and do some light reprofiling, but also fine enough to give a very crisp edge. I'd say if you could only have one stone, this would be the grit to get. And here's the big question that everybody's going to ask. The Shapton Ceramic 1000 or DMT Fine. This is a hard comparison to make. If the DMT is a Corvette, being all the performance but no fit and finish, the Shapton ceramic would be the Porsche with all the performance and the fit and finish on top. However, with the Porsche comes a little higher maintenance, with the Shapton requiring water as well as periodic flattening. So while both stones get the job done, how you like to sharpen will likely determine what stone you'll be more happy with. My final thoughts are I highly recommend this stone. I liked it so much that the same day I received the 1000 grit, I went ahead and ordered the 5000 grit. And will eventually like to fill in the rest of the grits as well. For the price, which is almost the same price as those cheap, worthless Chinese Amazon stones, this stone is the real deal. A miserable sharpening experience.